right, we are live. So welcome back, guys, to another episode of Chat with the Optimist. How are you dudes doing today? Very glad to be on here. It is Friday. So this is episode number 4, and we are going to be working with Photopea. So Photopea, similar to Pixlr, like we did 2 days ago, is a Photoshop alternative on the internet. It is a website, not a software like that dubious GIMP we were working with yesterday. So we're going to jump right into it. And before we get started, I'm just going to make sure all our screens are working so we don't have any little accidents like I did yesterday. Photopea, share. Here we go. So yeah, this is Photopea. I'm just going to switch my screens around so I can properly see it. And we're going to jump right in. So specifically today, I kind of thought about how I'm going to structure these kind of live streams because the past 2, I was pretty much just going around, messing with tools, not really making anything. So I want to make this much more, we have a goal in mind. So today we're going to work on a YouTube thumbnail a design that you guys can physically put on your channels. I'll mess around a little bit in here just to get a brief overview, guide over the tools, and then we'll actually start using them with this project. So first, when you come into Photopea, I think let me refresh the page quickly. Yeah, so when you first go onto Photopea, which all transparency, I haven't used this before. We have new project, open from computer, or templates. So let's click on templates to see what they have. So I imagine, yeah, they got quite a bit of stuff. Like let's say go to social media, YouTube. Okay. What is this for? Thumbnails. Oh yeah. So a lot of people have already default stuff in here. If you want thumbnails. Now these, oh, Mr. Beast thumbnail, that's pretty cool. So a lot of these, looking at them, they're not going to be great or very optimized. I guess they're just, if you want quick results, they could be all right. Like, I guess if we click on this one, click and go into it. Okay, let's see if we can change this text. So text, similar to GIMP yesterday. I'll explain everything. I just want to see if we can change the text tool. Okay, here we go. So let's say must have product. Oh, it's not. Go. And let's center this. Okay, so this is pretty cool. Let's get rid of the text behind. Must have product. So I guess this is a quick way. These templates are a quick way if you want something like like an emergency, or it's just some crappy video you're putting up and you don't want to put in the effort. So let's look at some of the more of the templates. This is actually pretty cool. Click file new or file template. New. Yes, let me just refresh the page. Reload, I don't care. Let's see more templates. So they got YouTube, which I imagine mostly is thumbnails. Let's see if they have banners. Yeah, they got, oh, okay, this is cool. They got banners on here. Let's go with profile pics. Yeah, but these are pretty garbage Minecraft stuff. And Instagram. Okay, so some poster design. Okay, I kind of like this. The only thing downside with these is that they're kind of, I'd say that because their templates are going to be a little generic and they're not going to fit with your brand unless you really customize it. Like, for example, with what I'm going for with my channel, my all my brands. Like I would have no use for this style. This looks like a Burger King advertisement, or like even this crypto, the blue purple. They're not my colors. Mine is like a lime green is my primary color, and I also use my palette like darker greens, yellow, orange, maybe a little bit red, but the cooler colors now. Let's see what else we got. Facebook, memes. We're not going to be using those. Signs, print, mobile. Okay. Websites. Let's see. They don't have as much website stuff. Banners. I guess this is good if you want to have like the right dimensions for whatever you're making. Yeah, these could be okay. But for the most part, I think, yeah, they have the most with the thumbnails. Let me get out of this. So let's make a new project and see how we're going to go about this. And even more templates that are going to be useful. So if we look in the top left here, I'm going to move this over. We have new. If I move this, yeah, you guys can see it. Just check and make sure the stream's okay. Yep, we are good. So let's name our project. We're going to call this new YouTube thumbnail. Now we have our dimensions. So 1280 by 720, that is a YouTube thumbnail. As you can see down here, we can choose them. Like, here we go. So like this would be your thumbnail. If you want to make a profile pic, a YouTube banner, even Instagram stuff. Yeah, this is really handy down here. Now we have the DPI, which we haven't seen before, and that means the resolution. So if it's on 72 right now, if we put it up to 150, it's going to boost the resolution of it. So just because something is very large doesn't not mean it's high quality. So what this means is I just put it from 72 to 150. That will means it has, I think that's indicated like it's going to have to quadruple the amount of pixels within our, well, not pixels, but it's better quality stuff. The best way I can describe it. Like 72 is kind of like the low end. It's usually goes 72, 150, 300. So I would recommend just doing 150. It's going to be the same dimensions. It's just going to take up more space. That's the only downside. And we have a background here. Like we'll just do white. So let's create. And yeah, this is very similar to Photoshop. So just a quick guide around here. The first thing we'll do is go into our layers, which is to the right. Now, unfortunately, I'm already seeing that there's ads on here, which it's all right. Just the video is kind of annoying. But that's what you get with free websites. So we're going to go to the right here. And this here, we have the background with the white rectangle. This is representing our background right here that we see in the canvas here. So if I were to click this little eye, it's going to hide it. And we got this little white and gray checkerboard indicating that there's nothing there. So anytime you see this checkerboard, it's nothing there. So you turn it on and off. It's locked right now with that lock. So we can turn that on and off by clicking this lock button here. So the lock button means you can't alter that layer. Now to make a new layer, because we don't want to draw on our background, this will permanently alter it. We can come down here and we have this little paper button, which will add a new layer. And right next to it is the trash can, which will delete it. So we can add and delete. All right, so that's how you make a new layer. So I'm going to be working with this. You can double click it to change it. So I'm click drawing, like I always do. And then next we have, let's go over to the tools, which is going to be in this left bar right here. So up here is going to be on the top. It's going to be mostly selection tools. Then we're coming down to more of our coloring stuff. This is going to be some altering like photos. Then we got text. And then our hand magnifying glass and our colors are down here. So first we're going to go into our paintbrush and start drawing around. So draw like this. Now it seems like that the tools or the settings aren't as obvious here. So if we want to change the color, we're going to have to come down to the bottom of our toolbar, and we see you have a black and the white square. And what that means is that we have two ways to draw. So we have the black, which is what we're drawing with right now. So let's make it red. Let's draw like that. And we have the white, which is our alternative color. Let me make that like a light blue. Now let's see if this works. Is there a way to switch it with a keyboard? No. So we're going to have to do this manually. So if you want to switch between them, you click this little arrow between them, and this will switch back and forth. So you can have two colors automatically set. And this will set it back to the defaults of black and white. So for now, I'm just going to actually do black, and we're going to do like a dark green for our default. And we're going to backspace this, get rid of it. So undo is Control Z. That's what I'm doing. That's probably the only hotkey I'm using is Control Z to undo everything. Now let's see if this works. Like if I delete this, but then and bring it back. Yes. So Photopea looks like if you Control Z, it's going to undo it. But if you want to redo your action, Control Shift Z will bring it back. So that's handy to know. Okay, now let's see how we can change the brush. Okay, I know right away you can change the size with the bracket keys on our keyboard to make it larger or smaller. I just want to know where we can find, up here. The top left corner under Edit and File, we can change the brush size, which is a little hidden here. So we can change it bigger, smaller, hardness, and you have some pre-default settings. And this here is, I don't know. We're not going to touch it now. Eraser is here. You can erase stuff. Same thing with the brush. Make it larger, smaller. What else we're going to look at for now? Let's go text. Font Versa loaded. Okay. So maybe if I click and drag, yep, we're going to click our text box and we're going to type in new thumbnail. Do you have caps lock on? Okay, why is it all caps? That's interesting. Let's see if we have to highlight this to change it. No, we don't. Okay, cool. So up here is our font tools, so we can change the color of things. Do we have to change the highlight it? Yes. So we're going to have to highlight our text before making alterations. So like this. Make it darker. We can change the color. We can add a stroke, which is cool. So that little 3-dot button, we can add a stroke to our text. Let's make it bigger so you guys can see it. Oh, I like this slider. Okay, that's cool that a lot of this software don't have. Nice slider. 3 dots. And we're going to make the width a little larger. We're going to have to input manually. So that, not make it larger. 5. Perfect. And we can add a background too. Okay. Make a light background. Okay, I like that. So very simple so far. Very easy to use. Haven't found an issue yet. Crisp, sharp. Just exploring these. Smooth. I don't know what those are doing. Let's just do none. Okay, we can put it on the bottom or top of our text here. Warp. Guess we can warp things to make it like have an arc to it or whatever. None. And then what's this? Cancel or confirm. Okay, let's look at some of the fonts here. Okay, good selection. I like it. Let's see some regular ones to see if they have them. Like, let's scroll up to the top. So of course they're going to have Arial. I guarantee it. Do they not have Arial? Holy cow, they don't have Arial. That's crazy. Do they have Comic Sans? Not really. Comic New Way. Okay. Futura Renner. Okay. Gothic. Helvetica. No. Okay, that's interesting. But they don't, it looks like they don't have some of the ones I use a lot, but you do have a very wide selection. Especially you got some good display fonts, which I like. They're not all looking exactly the same. So let's just do Bitstream. And we have here, they have inbuilt type weights and styles. So like oblique, we can make it bold. So they belong within the type family. It's designed for this typeface, which is good. It's not just generic stuff. So yeah, I like in the text right now. You move it. Oh. Nice. Now let's use this eyedropper to see if we get the screen. Yes, we do. Okay, the eyedropper, we can pick up a color. Okay, I'm liking this. So we're going to start with the actual project here. So, before we go into this, we have the history here, which is cool. So what this does is like, if we can of course undo stuff, but if you ever go too far or you really mess up, you can go back here and select like go really back. See, like here, we made the text here. So it's a good safe hazard. We also got swatches, which will save our colors. Let's see if we can change them. Yeah, so it automatically appears here our recently used colors. So that's handy. That's already up here. What else we got? Brush, characters, paragraph. Okay, let's actually start. Before we'll just save quickly to see how this works. So go to File. You can save as a PSD. Holy cow. Okay. Let's go Photopea Assets. Save it here. Wow, so we can save it as a Photoshop file. So this takes Photoshop files. That's really good, actually. Save more. Save the storage. Oh, we can save, but let's export. Okay, this is, here we go. Export JPEG, export PSD, save. Okay, so I like this. It's very simple to use. So now I'm gonna just delete this. Let's start looking at the thumbnail. So, so one thing I would recommend, I usually do when I'm about to post a video and I'm building a thumbnail, is to actually go on YouTube to see what other people are doing in that similar genre. So I'm gonna pull up an image right now. Let me actually use this screen for it. Oops. Yes, I want to use photos for PNG files. Okay. I'll just use this one. Okay, here we go. So here's some YouTube thumbnails I just quickly screenshotted out of like the YouTube homepage. So a variety of kind of videos that YouTube recommends, except for actually, yeah, that's not that. So here are some ones that looks like they all got mostly like 1 million views or so on. So these are things that clearly worked somehow. So it's a good idea to look at them. Let's look and see what's working about this. This is obviously from a TV show. What is this telling us here? We got this guy with a worried expression, with the title of the show and the network. And it just says, I regret calling in the expert. So if you watch the show, you might wonder, like, why would you regret calling in an expert? And you look in the title, like, 7 insanely high appraisals. So this is like a good grasp. There's a reason why it has 19 million views. This one is like very nice colors. The blue, clearly like they changed the saturation on this to make it very bright, like the yellow with the blue. It's very appealing, those colors together. And even that little purple stripe down there, like comparing the two cars. Here, these guys, like, they're made a swimming pool. So this looks pretty bizarre. Like, they're really like clear water out in the middle of the woods, and they're just diving into this hole, which I guarantee this is like fake. And so this is a little clickbaity, but definitely very interesting, especially the color of the green, like how vibrant the water is. That's an ad. Here we go, gun restoration. This just gets straight to the point, a rusty gun that they're clearly fixing up this Colt. Let's skip that one for now. We have here touring Elon Musk's $50,000 tiny home. So Elon Musk, someone who people know has a lot of money and is definitely an interesting character. And we have his little weird house here, and it's only $50,000. So people wonder, like, why would this multi-billionaire have this cheap home? And he's a quirky guy and he knows all the tech. So like, what's special about this? So more specifically with the thumbnail, we have the picture with this guy, short little Graham next to Elon next to the house, and you get the $50,000. Like, they could easily put in the foreground of the image, like in front of them in the house, but they put it behind. So that's very clever. So it's just looming back there, but you can still read it. Theo Vaughn, his podcast, just the past weekend podcast with Theo Vaughn, is this one, like the previous one, he's putting the text behind them because it's there, but it's not very important. So what's important is Israel and Adzania is the main guest, so people will be interested in him. So they have him talking like, oh, they're really interested. So that's why they took those two screenshots of them. So they're implying that they're having a very interesting conversation. Next up is the Sidemen. Let's see, the Sidemen versus 20 women versus one Sideman. Those kind of challenges are always interesting. But we have this dude. Is that a Vic Star? This dude who's like surprised and kind of like has a little fear in his eyes. Oh my God, I'm going against like 20 women. And in the background, these girls here. And this one we're going to be working on is with this dude, how to find and draw perfect support and resistance zones, which I don't really know what that means, but it still is a very good thumbnail. So if it's something I would like be someone interested in clicking on, even though I have no idea what they're talking about, I feel like that does its job properly. So with this one in particular, you have the guy, the creator, just staring right at the camera or right at the frame with the text box here. You have the sports car and the loft and the little graph. So you have like two sides here telling us two different things. So we're going to recreate this inside of our Photopea. And I already have some assets we can use. All right. Great. So let's get in here. start making it. So the first thing we're going to want to do, this is already the right dimension, so 1280 by 720. So make sure you do that and you don't crop, because then you're going to create issues when you actually post it. So the first thing we're going to do is import some stuff, which I think we're going to have to click open and place. Open will, I think, will make a new file. Place will put it in our current file. So I'm just going to put in the sample thumbnail for now, which means let me pull it up in front of the background. We're going to use this as just the template. So I'm going to move it back here, and we're going to want to make it bigger, fill the whole screen. So we can do that. I'm assuming this is a keyboard shortcut. Let me actually not do that. Before I do the keyboard shortcut, I'm going to show you how to actually find this, the transform tool. So we're going to make sure we're on the right layer, go up to our toolbar and click image. And inside image, we have transform. Or not transform, it doesn't have that. Let's go to image size. Now this will, no. Let's go to layer. And do they have a transform? Or edit. Free. Let's click free transform. Okay, here we go. So we go to edit, then transform. Now they have specific ones like scale, rotate. Those are the main ones we'll do, but we're just going to go to free transform. And now we have these little blocks surrounding our image, which means that we can now change the size. So we can go here to this corner and make it bigger. Now, if we want to make it like really like vertical or thin, we just hold shift. But you don't want to distort the images. Not a good idea. Whoops. So clearly, we're going to have to go in here and free transform. So Alt Control T, Alt Control T. That's the keyboard shortcut. I use that a lot. So we're going to make it big. A little more specifically, we're going to try to fill it as much as we can because we don't want the black from the screenshot in there. Perfect. So enter, or let's just click, yeah. So now that we did that, we're going to lock this. So now we can't touch it. I'm going to delete our white background. We don't need that anymore. So let's call it, yeah, sample thumbnail. So we don't touch that. Now we're going to recreate this as best as we can with the assets we have. So I'm going to go to File, Open Place. And I got this picture of a guy. Say this is you. And you want to do a similar thing as him. So let's just get you up to size. So when you first place an image, it'll automatically let you transform. So I'm just going to go here, kind of blocking it. Okay, I think that's going to be good enough. Maybe a little bit bigger. Actually, yeah. Before we do that, just get out of here. Before we do that, because we have so much space, what we're going to do, a little secret, is that we can go to the eraser and take any of the spots we don't want. Like we know we don't want anything below the torso. Whoops, we're going to re-accessorize this. And we're just going to get rid of all this around him. So we have more room to work with. So erase the whole rest of the image, because we're eventually going to get rid of the background. So now we're going to transform him. We're going to do that by Alt Control T, which allows us to transform. And now let's make him like really big. So this is pretty good. Unfortunately, he's not very high quality image, so maybe not the best image I use, but we'll work with it. So now that we have him, let me actually shrink him. Whoops, a little bit, because I want to make sure I get rid of everything, or you make him really big. Okay, so now we're going to want to get rid of a lot of this background here. So first thing I'm going to do is hide this, and let's see the tools about how to actually just get him in there. So first I'm going to do is zoom. So we can click Z, zoom in, and whoops, how do I zoom out? Alt Z, yeah, zoom out. Like with Alt Z is to zoom in, Alt Z is to zoom out. So we have a couple tools at our disposal to get rid of all this background here. The first we're going to do is the lasso, which is the most primitive, which we can just literally just draw around him, like freehand it like this to get as much out as we can. Like this. And now we've selected him. Now there's two ways to get rid of the background. We can either copy paste like this, copy and paste. Oops. Allow. Perfect. So now I just Control C, Control Z, and now I got him. Or we can back, and we can right click. It's like inverse, and now it will delete everything. We just automatically delete it instead of making a new layer. So it's really up to you. The only issue with this is like this is fine, but like you see with the hat there, where it kind of glitched, or it's kind of cut off in some areas. In some areas, you have a little bit still left. So I'm going to right click, deselect, so we can still mess with it. Now I'm going to go to the eraser, and now we can erase some spots. Now that's the simplest one and probably the quickest, but it's probably the worst result, the least accurate. So I'm just going to get out of here. And next one we can go into is, we can ignore those, is the magic wand. Now what the magic wand does is we click somewhere like the background, it's going to select the color specifically, like it's selected most of this beige here. If we hold shift, we can select another color and it'll slowly chip away at this. Now we can turn off contiguous, and this means like it doesn't have to touch when we select it. So when we get out of here, contiguous means like if I select this, say the dark blue down here, it's gonna just get every dark blue in the image. But if I have contiguous on, it's just only gonna get whatever this dark blue is touching. So I'd say you can keep that on. Now the tolerance will mean how much color is it taking up. So if we take the 32, now take up more beige. Whoops, let's make it 50. Enter. Select. Now we select this. It's now taking up all this. So we can delete this here. Deselect or Control D. Whoops, that's a little too much. See, you got to be careful with the tolerance because this board here is too close to the jean jacket. Let's delete this, click this, delete, click this, delete, click this, delete, lower the tolerance, 30. And let's get this golf cart. Whoop. Don't want that. Let's go 20. Still too much. Oh, I'm not entering. There we go. With that. Too much. So let's do 10. 210. Delete this. Delete this. Oops. You can slowly chip away at stuff like delete, select, delete, until you get to a certain point where you're like, okay, pick out most of it, and you can freehand here with just the eraser. First, we gotta Control D to turn off the deselection, because when you select something, like say if I select his jean jacket, it means this is the only area that you can alter right now. So if I were to try to erase his face, nothing will happen. But if I erase this little area in here, it will disappear. So that's why you got to make sure you have the either Control D or make sure you have the selection tools on and click deselect. But now we can just go into the eraser and lagging a little bit and just clean it up. And this is a little bit more accurate. Let's make it smooth here. It's a little too much. And just erase everything around. So this is a little tool you have. Another one. It takes a little bit more while, but you get a better result. Now let's actually go to the last one, which I like very much. So this will actually be a good time for the history. Looks like we ran out of history. So yeah, you have a certain amount of history you can go back on. But there's also this quick selection tool, which is you select an area and you click and drag and yeah, so you don't have to hold shift. This is if you want to get large areas out of the way. Quick selection, Control D. Well, that deleted the whole entirety of him. So let's actually go back to the magic wand and get rid of all this stuff. Or let's just do the eraser. I'm not going to be that accurate here. I want to get to the other tools. So let's just erase. Da-da-dum. I like how smooth the mouse is, except when I lag. But that's because of my computer, not the software. All right, so we have this dude right now, and we'll delete part of that hat here. And I'm using the brackets to make it the brush larger or smaller. On his ear. All right, that's fine. Okay, we'll just go with that. So cool. So now let's open up our thumbnail sample again. We're going to want to make him the same size now. Oops, don't want to open up a new tab. Alt Control T. Wait, that wasn't it. Edit. Alt Control T. Yeah, I had it. We'll make them larger to make them the same size. Come on. He's about a little bit bigger. And a little bit bigger. Let me zoom out. I'm holding Shift or Alt to zoom out here. I don't like how there's like no bars. So what we do have instead is we click H or the hand tool, we can drag the screen around like this, or the canvas. So now I'm just going to shift him right in front here. All right, that's good enough. This. Now, the next thing we're going to want to do is actually alter some of the filters, because he's much more saturated than he is. So we can go to Layer, and then Layer, and then Filter. We'll just have to find this. The coloring stuff. Filter. Color range, maybe. We have auto tone, auto contrast, auto color. Edit. Let's go to color range. Oh, this is for the whole image. No, we just want the layer, though. Remove background. Okay, that's interesting. Let me actually try on our sample thumbnail to see what that does. Remove background. Where was it? I'm all over the place. Oh, here we go. Okay, that didn't do much. For a better result, what was that? Press the button again. Okay. Okay, so I guess it's an auto one, but it's not working very well. Back to this dude. I'm trying to find where to change the color of him. So filter, 3D blur, sharpen, stylize, other. I want to see, like, I'd be very surprised and very disappointed if they don't have, well, get rid of this. Get rid of that garbage. Color range, magic, layer. Okay, so we have layer styles there. More. Let's save this before I do anything crazy. So save as PNG, PSD, and we'll call this, yeah, save, replace it. Theme, blue. Okay, let's do purple. I think it's changing it. White. Yes, it's definitely changing. Okay, this is cool. So we have, yeah, same old boring stuff. Let me quickly reload the page. See if we have anything. We'll get rid of that stuff. So let's go to open from computer. You get thumbnail. Do thumbnail. Okay, here we go. Still though, want to. Why is this connected? Delete raster. I didn't know what that raster image was. Window, channel, color? No. Let's just open up the window. Filter. Filter gallery. Oh, man. Oh, that's interesting. Filter. Filter render flame. Okay. I don't think that did anything. Actually, maybe we can search it. Okay. Saturation. Image adjustments. Okay. Okay. That's really handy. This little magnifying glass. Image adjustment. Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. It should have been. Why didn't I? I think that's usually under layer for Photoshop. That's probably why. Mode. Okay. We're going to go to hue and saturation. We're going to put up the saturation here. Oh, it's a little too strong. Just a little bit. Hues, like you can change the color all funky or whatever, but we're going to keep it 0. Lightness. No, we're not going to do that. Okay. Maybe here's a good experiment we can do right now. We can just take the jean jacket. So because this is all transparent around, we don't have to be exact until we get to like the neck here. So maybe around his t-shirt. Whoops. We'll keep it. And we're going to just bump up the saturation on that. So because we did the selection, we don't have to, yeah, here we go. We don't have to, we can just change one area because of that. Same thing with this hat too. Let's do that. Let's make it a brighter hat. Little quick tool to like, oops, deselect. To change some of your stuff in there, your files. So select or image adjustment, saturation, bump that up a little bit, make it greener. Okay, and then let's tick on that and go to adjustments and go to curves. And what this does, it might seem a little complex, but this is pretty much how bright or dark your image is. So like we can make it a light green or we can make it like dark. And even we can be more custom with like red. If you want to make it like more red, we can go in here or delete the red. And then with blue, we can make it more blue. And there's a green one as well. Let's actually make that a little darker. Levels does a similar thing as well, but it's just with this. Make it a little darker. Select. Still like it's still like a childish green, so it's a blue, so we're making a little blue. And we're gonna make it dark. So cool way to change colors on stuff like this. Oh, here we go. We go like this. Hat's gonna be covering up, but that's fine. Here's a big hat. So the next thing we want to do with him, say he doesn't have any, but say you have like a blemish or whatever, or like, for example, I don't like these buttons on here. It's a little distracting for whatever reason, or if I don't like it. We have this healing brush tool that we can open up, make it larger, and we can just draw. Make sure you have this man on the street selected. You can draw on top of it. What this does, it automatically will cover it up with things around it. See, like it covered up with that strap. So it's a cool, quick little tool to get rid of stuff you don't like. Say if you don't like his mustache here. Let's go to the tool, make it smaller, and just draw on top of it. This, let's see. Had a kind of work, but because it's a large spot, like, yeah, it kind of works. The closer, if you're looking really close, not so much, but the larger area you do, like say if we cover up his whole eye, it's gonna look really ugly, yeah, because it doesn't know it's an eye. Don't do this on the edge, because then it can get a little weird if you do it on an edge of an image. So that's a cool tool at your disposal. Not going to go into the other ones. But let's move on to the rest of our assets. Let's go to File, Open Place, and let's grab the apartment, because he has an apartment in the backyard, back of him. So I got this image of an apartment, so we can move the layer behind the man in the street, and we can just click and drag. Now, say if you want this to be very exact to here, so it's kind of hard to eye because this is covering it. What we can do is we can lower the opacity and we can kind of see through it so we can get like line it up exactly. So, oops, Alt Control T. There we go. So now, oops, not wrong guy. Let's actually lock them for now so we don't change anything about him. But Alt Control T, make the apartment larger and kind of get it more exact to our what we're looking for. There we go. And now we can up the opacity again. There we go. Maybe look this up more. And yeah, there we go. This is actually, I wouldn't change this because it's in the background. So maybe we don't want it to pop as much. So we can leave this for now, the apartment. Our next thing we're going to add is the car. Whoops. Keep clicking open. Open place. Now I got this car. Now this one's a little different. The apartment was easy. But with our sports car, it's very different from the car here. Because one, it's green. and 2, it's the opposite direction. So obviously the first thing we want to do is cut it all out. So we can take this little wand here, and maybe the wand's not the best. Let's go to the quick selection. So before we do that, we can go to the eraser, and I like to delete the general area around it. Yes, rasterize. Wait, hold on. That's the wrong image, right? Yeah, it's just a paintbrush tool. Okay, so here we go. Eraser. So erase the images around it so we don't have to get rid of as much. There we go. Hide everything else. Now we're going to use this tool. The quick selection. So now we can just grab parts here. We took too much of the card, so we're going to Control Z. Did I take the car again? Yes, so maybe it's a little too strong. So they don't really have a tolerance for this one. Kind of stinks. So maybe what we'll do, we could just go to the magic wand and delete it. Delete this. Let's up that tolerance to like 30. Here. And just slowly delete parts of it. What we can do is a good insurance policy while we delete it. Say we're going through this and I accidentally got rid of like this side window mirror. We can duplicate our sports car and hide it. So just in case we're done, like we're deleting things and we actually deleted too much, we kind of have a backup so we can get a part again. So we don't have to redo the entire thing. So now at this point, it's getting a little too frustrating. So I'd say now we can go into the eraser tool and kind of be exact. Just make sure your eraser is the hardest as you can get. Make sure we have everything deselected. And there we go. And we can zoom in so we can get things very exact how we want. So now as we get closer, if you're not confident, you're going to get a very clean edge. You can go make it like a little bit softer. So, it's not going to be exact. It's going to be a smoother transition here. And if you plan on using, like, say, the remove background or other AI deleting like background stuff, it's good to have these tools because a lot of times they're never 100% exact, and not good if you don't know how to show like, oh God, like it did a good job for the most part, but then it has this chunk here that I can't fix. Let's move up the hardness again. And then it looks really bad. So it's good to like have this tool at your disposal to know how to clean the automation up. And that's a big thing, I believe in, especially with AI, because AI is inevitable. Let me go full screen. AI is inevitable. And you just got to accept that it's coming and just be able to survive it in a way. You need to be able to adapt to it and use it. The people who are going to do the best are the ones who are actually going to use the new technology. So in terms of AI, like it's here to stay. So get used to using it because eventually everyone will have to get on it. Go back. But I think more so the people who know how to use it in conjunction with the old tools like we're doing right now are going to be the people who will survive, not the people who are like, oh, I'm just going to put in a prompt and it's going to output anything I want. No, it's you actually it's not a genius. So you have to have some kind of like artistic license in it. Oh, see, I just cut off a lot of it there. So that wasn't a very good one. Not the cleanest cut right now. I just want to finish this. It's kind of a boring just doing this, but you got to do it. Let's get rid of that grill here thing. All right, this is pretty much it. Yeah, so good enough for now. That was the wheel I got rid of, was it? No. So let's just go back to this car. Yeah, so I think we did a good job. Delete. Oh, down here as well. So the next thing after this is we got to flip this, and we also got to change the color of it if we want to. Just be careful of any residues left. So next thing up is how do you flip this? Pretty easy. Go to Edit, then Transform, then go down to Flip Horizontally. Bam. So we have a lot of tools down here in Transform, so you can rotate in all different directions. So neat little thing. The next thing up is the color. So if you remember, there are selection tools. There's one in particular that is good for one particular color, selecting one group of colors, which is the magic wand. So if we go here, not selecting it all, let's bump up the tolerance to say like 50. Select the green, probably a mid-tone green. We're going to need more, so let's go 100. And most of it, but still not there. Let's go to 150. Okay, I think it's getting most of it, and a little too much as well. 125. Let's see. Okay, this is a good amount. Turn off contiguous. Oh, too much. 100. It's still getting that green in it. That gray. It's green. The issue with this is because it's so shiny, it's not getting absolutely everything that I want. Stinks. There's like the reflection is like this is kind of gray or whatever. So instead of this, let's go to the quick selection tool. Okay, that was actually great. We got a lot out of this, what I want. So we're gonna go back here, shrink this a little, let's see if we can grab more. A little too much. We'll just mode. Yeah, it's not going to work too well with me. Maybe if we go to the lasso, can we like shift and then get around this? Yeah, okay, so we can lasso it like the little details around here. Oh, I want to zoom out. There we go. I was having a hard time with that. Okay, so next up, we got to change the color. So what we can do is, now we have the green selected, we can go to Image, Adjustments, and then a couple ways to do this. We can just go to Hue Saturation and change the hue. So we can get all different kinds of colors, which is cool. So there's our red. And we can change the brightness of it. Or we can go into the curves and get more exact. Like, let's do that. Go to image, just make curves. First thing I want to do is get rid of a lot of the green. So now it's becoming more like of a blue. So let's ump the red. Not coming out well. So let's go back to the hue. That's going to be better. So we'll make this red. Like, there we go. And now we can go to the levels and kind of change the tint in the shade. Like, we can make it darker or make this lighter. Oh, here we go. And then we can bump up the saturation and the same thing on with the hue, like make it really bright or kind of dull. So let's make it really bright for the thumbnail. Great. Now let's go to the apartment, or more so the sample thing, and very similar car. Oh no, we forgot the we forgot the little what's called the side mirrors. So let's quickly get those. I'm gonna circle them. I'm gonna hold shift to get the other one. And now let's go to the hue. Bring that to red. And up with the saturation. Okay, there we go. You select. And we missed that inside of that, but we're not going to see it. Okay, so Alt Control T. Let's shrink this down. And we got ourselves a car. Very cool. It's actually a similar size. So remember our trick, we can lower the opacity so we can get it more exact. So make it a little bigger. Whoops, keep opening up a new tab. Like this, perfect. And turn on the opacity. And let's put him behind here. So now we have this so far. We're going to have to do a little bit of adjustments here if we want to make it more realistic. Like maybe we'll make... Stop opening up new tabs, Mike. We'll put this here. Perfect. And what we'll do with him is... The only thing that stinks about him, he's kind of sticking out like a sore thumb, is because of the lighting, and he's kind of blurry. But we can kind of fix the lighting part. If you go to Image, Adjustments, and then Exposure. Exposure is how much light you have on you. So if we have this, we make you like very bright, or we can make it very dark. So let's up the exposure a little bit. Cool. Now the next thing is the graph, which is going to be a little tricky, but we're going to do it inside here. So I'm going to make a new layer, and we're going to use the pen tool. I think the pen tool we can do it with. Yeah, the pen tool. And wait, I don't know if this is going to work exactly. So let's see. Black. And how do we increase the size of this the lines? Path. Oh, pixels. Let's see. So we're going to change this to pixels. It's not letting us our shape. Wonder why we can't do that pixels. Let's just do stroke though. Let's make it give it a stroke. Yeah, okay. And let's make the stroke like 10. And okay, so want it bigger. Do 100. Is this only going to do it unless we close it? Maybe we can use another tool because I haven't really used like this shape building inside these software. Line. Okay, here we go. Line. Perfect. So with this, we're gonna make it 10 pixels, and we can. Okay. We can build ourselves some lines. So here, where can we? Okay, here. Can we like just perfect? Let's make this a little smaller. It's like 7, and let's replicate these lines here. So hold, click and hold, and we can do here. Make one here. Make one here. And we can create like recreate shapes in this. And let's get this a little bit more exact. Click and move. Move. Cool. So it made us a bunch of shapes. Now it can get a little crazy with the layers. So what we can do is put them in a folder. So highlight them all with Shift, then click new folder, or yeah, there we go. And now it's all in here. So if we want to duplicate them, if we right click and click duplicate layer, we have an extra folder. So now it's an easy way to organize our stuff. So now if we lift shift on all the layers and click and drag, we can move them all together, and we can shift this over here so we don't have to remake stuff. Get rid of this thing. Okay, so that's a quick way to make these graphs. Now we also got this like dividing line. So I think a good way to do that is to actually make a shape. So let's go to the line and we'll click on rectangle. And here, this is obviously a white rectangle with a black stroke. So we change the fill to white. So let's go to white, and then let's go to the stroke. We can change that afterwards. So let's just make it big like this. And let's make the stroke bigger because it's clear we're going to need it a little bit bigger. Okay. Yeah, that's a similar one. And now we're going to Alt-Control-T. Now, when we're in this free transform mode, we can rotate it by going to the corners and clicking and holding. And we'll rotate our shape down like this. So click and rotate. And we're going to move into position. Now we got to make this a little bit bigger. So I'm just going to click and transform. Make it very big. Okay. Perfect. Okay. So we made that. Let's put this in the back here. Good. Now, the last thing we got to do with this, I'm not going to do the little, well, because you can kind of see the background there, let's actually make this lower opacity, maybe like 80. So when we see it, you can kind of see the stuff behind it. But the next thing we got to do is, the last thing is the text. So we have resist, support, resist, support. Let's actually fix our lines up a little. That's bothering me. There. There. Whoops. Okay. That's good enough. So the last thing we got to do is make the text. So I'm going to close out these, hide these folders, and I'm going to make a new layer. And this is where we're going to put the text in. So we're going to find a font that's close enough to these. So I'm going to type in resistance. And make it a little bit bigger. Okay, this is just moving it. It's not actually, hold on, highlight. Yeah, okay, that's good. And find a font that's similar. Now, this is actually very similar. This one, this is a sans serif font, so it doesn't have the feet at the end of the letters. So let's just keep it and change the color now. So if you want this exact red, what we can do is highlight the text, go into color, and then click, we can do this. We can just, it's automatically doing it for us. We can click the red here, and then we can just copy it. And then lastly, we have, I can tell this is in bold, so let's embolden this. Oh, this already is in bold. That's fine. Let's just make it a little bit bigger. Let's just get an underline. Does it have an underline option? Doesn't look like it, so we have to create our own. So I'm going to say, let's just create a line. Our line options, line, bang. Now, if we hold shift, do we want to have an exact line? We can hold shift and it will make it perfectly straight. That's too thick. That's good. And the color, we're going to get this red. I was a little too light. Okay. There we go. Oh, we gotta, with our line, we gotta fix the fill because it's reading white. So let's get that same red. Okay, perfect. So now let's remove that. Let's move the line over a little bit. So that's good. So instead of having to redo them all, because we have 3 resistance, 3 support, we can just copy and paste them. So first thing I'm going to do is let's make our support one first. So I'm just going to duplicate both of them. And now I'm going to shift them. Let me hide the other 2. And now move these down to our support. And this is a good way to save time. Like, click it. I'm going to move the line up. I'm holding shift so we don't move horizontally. And let's just change the color on this. So I'm going to go to my shape tool. Where you had the line tool. We're going to change the stroke to one of the greens. That's good. Make it a little bit stronger, but it's hard to get it. Now fill, we're going to get that same green. Cool. And now the resistance text, click the text tool again. And we're going to highlight this. And we're going to change it to the green that we have saved. And changed it to support. We're going to change the text. So support. So now we put this right here and put it on top. So now we have 2 of these. So I'm just going to put these into folders, or we can merge them. If we know for a fact we're not going to change it at all in the future, like we're fine how it is, we can just merge it into one layer. But then you can actually, like I said, you can't change it. So merge, we'll call this red, we'll call this other one green. Now, because we have these, we can just copy and paste it easily. So Control D. So we're duplicate layer. And now red, copy. Huh. Where is this? Copy the wrong layer? Did we lose our resistance? I think we did, so we're gonna have to redo this, unfortunately. Let's do this. I'm gonna show you guys how quick we can do this. So duplicate layer, hide this, move this up, change the color, back to with the swatch, the red, stroke, red. Make sure we have the support still. Why isn't it changing? And we spelled support wrong. Oh, that's because we merged the layers. Okay, we're gonna have to go back. Here we go. This is where we went wrong. Somewhere we went wrong here. So here we go. We have the resistance, and this is on layer 7. And now we're going to duplicate these. And we're going to move them down here and change them. We got support. Change the color to the green. And thank God it's still saving that green in here. And then finally this one here, or line, we're going to make this green, fill it with green, make it all green, and move it where it's supposed to be. So where support is. So support line and resistance line. Cool. So now let's be safe with this, and we're going to put them in folders. So this is going to be our red folder. Red. And we're going to have this as our green folder. So green. This will allow us for easy duplication while still being able to edit them. So let's duplicate the red. Let's move that over to highlight both of them and move them over to the resistance. And let's make another one. Oops, let's duplicate red copy. And now let's move this down here. Okay, and now we got those, and let's just do the green one. And we're almost finished up with this. So let's duplicate. Bang. All right. All right, and I think we're almost done here. So let's remove this dude and pull up our other ones. Let's actually put this stuff in the background because we want this behind stuff. Move it down here. Bang, 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 bang. Let's move the apartment below. There we go. I think the only thing we could do is with the man, we can go image or layer, and go to the styles, and we can add a shadow. What did this dude have? Where is he? Let's put him on top to see what he had. He actually just had a black dot, so we can just go make a new layer, brush, and then make a very thin brush and make it dark. Oops. And yeah, and we can just make it really big. Oops. Okay, here we go. And just put it behind. And drop the opacity. Cool. So I think it's a good job. We can just add our text here. But we are running pretty long, and I think let's just throw in the text. Support or resist. What is it? Master, support, and resist. Or text tool. So we can just put master, highlight it, center it, make it larger, make it like white, and give it a gray or dark background. Master. And let's duplicate it to make it easier on ourselves. I'll drop this down. Extend this, and we're going to do like resistance and support. And let's just make our thing larger. And we should be good. Well, that's a decent thumbnail. That's you. So here is the before, this guy, and after. So I think that's pretty good. Save it up. And I think this will be it. So in terms of this software, I am really liking Photopea. It's very much like Photoshop. A lot of the tools will work really well. Out of these three, definitely better than GIMP. Definitely better than GIMP. And there's unlimited saves for this. So definitely probably my number one right now. But there's still more to try, so maybe you'll knock it off. The only issue I think I can find with this one is that the ads, but that's nothing. But yeah, really like this. Very similar to Photoshop. And we went for, wow, almost an hour and a half. So that's good. So I like the end result we got. So thank you guys for watching. And I'll catch you guys next week. So peace out, dudes.